Hi everybody, Tim Hughes here. I'm the CEO and co-founder of DLA Ignite. Today I've got May King with me, and May King and I are going to talk about FOMO, or the fear of missing out, and how you can use FOMO in your business. May King, tell us, where can people find you?
Well, you can see down there I'm on all the socials as Making Tea, or LinkedIn as May King Tsang.
And I mean, making tea, I mean, isn't that such a fantastic, everyone can remember it.
Hopefully.
Well, but I mean, I was asked by my partner, who are you interviewing today? And I said, making tea. And she said, who? I said, well, you're going to remember it now, aren't you?
Absolutely. I mean, business is all about building relationships with people and getting to know them. So if I can break the ice by saying, hi, my name's May King Tsang, first name May King, I was in making tea, then it kind of makes people giggle, and then hopefully they'll remember me. And that's the start of building relationships.
It is. And it's about being rememberable rather than being being the same as everybody else, which seems to be what everybody on LinkedIn seems to be doing.
Absolutely.
So tell us about your journey. Where you started, and how you got into social media, and tell us about that.
So, making tea actually was the first iteration, the first business that I started, and because I was an early adopter of social media.
You were.
um, uh, People were asking me, well, can you do that for me as well? And that was where FOMOCreator was born. So FOMO means the fear of missing out, and in business it's a good thing. So sometimes we may flick on Facebook and think, oh, we're sort of jealous of our friends and what they're up to, and and we're missing out on so on. But in business, we want to generate that fear of missing out. We want to get our lurkers, because let's face it, we've all got lurkers on social media, right, Tim?
We have. We
want to get those lurkers excited so that they think they're going to miss out. And so for our business, we can use social media or email or whatever mediums you use to get your community excited, think that they're going to miss out, and then hopefully that will help you to then encourage people to buy into your product, your event, your service, or whatever your offering is. So as I was doing it rather well for my own business, live tweeting, interviewing people, and so on, people were asking me, hey, can you do this for me as well? And I said, yeah, sure, no problem. And that's where FOMOCreator is all about. It's about generating buzz and excitement for your business. You can do it yourself, or you can hire a FOMOCreator like me.
like you.
And you can generate that buzz and excitement on the platforms, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook, or all four, which I've been hired to do in the past at the same time. And then get those lurkers excited, and as I say, encourage them to come to to invest in you and buy from you.
It's interesting because you started going to conferences and exhibitions and tweeting, and the thing about FOMO is about not just about having the conference and exhibition within the conference confines of the conference and exhibition hall, but also about making the conversation outside of the conference hall. And that's where you started, isn't it? In terms of you were tweeting and stuff like that, and then this conversation started, and people go, "How did you do that?"
Absolutely. So, traditionally, before I suppose before social media came about, if you had an event, you worked hard to get people to the event using your marketing strategies and so on. And then it's almost like the event or conference organizer breathes a sigh of relief on the day of the conference itself and think, oh, thank goodness it's all over. But actually, the best time to market your next conference is at this one. And that's what I was doing. So for my clients, the conference organizers, I was tweeting tweeting, I was interviewing, and putting out what amazing experience people have been having at the conference, because there will have been lurkers who thought, should I go to that event or shouldn't I? What's it like? And so getting a feel for the conference through these tweets, through these Instagram stories, through the interviews that I've done on behalf of my clients, people think, oh gosh, I'm getting FOMO. I'm missing out. I need to book onto the next event. So that's how it works. So the best time to market your event, your next event, is at this one. But FOMO is not exclusive to conferences and events and festivals either.
Yep.
Whenever, whichever business you are in, you can create FOMO for yourself, and create that buzz and excitement, as I say, so that people will be lurking on your stuff, looking at your stuff, and think, okay, I really need to find out more about this person. I need to hire, or I need to buy.
So just for the record, explain to us what a lurker is.
Well, we're all lurkers, aren't we, Tim? We've all been on social media, having a quick scroll, having a look at what other people are doing and thinking, oh, am I missing out? Or, oh, that's interesting. I wonder what they're doing. So we're all lurkers, really. That's what I mean by a lurker. You don't know they're there because they haven't liked your post. They haven't shared your post. They haven't engaged. They haven't commented, but they are there. And so when it comes to creating FOMO, it is all about creating content for the lurkers, as I call it. And when the time is right for your lurkers, they will get in touch with you. I'm sure in business, Tim, someone has got in touch with you and said and has referred to something that you may have written on LinkedIn, and they said, oh, how is whatever it is, and you had no recollection of that person because they never liked your post and never interacted, and never commented. There's no judgment, of course, it's but they didn't, for whatever reason, they didn't engage with you, and that's absolutely fine. But that's what I mean about the lurkers. And again, in generating that exciting content, when the time is right for them, they will get in touch with you and get in touch with you in the DMs. And that's what I mean by a lurker. So we want to convert those lurkers into prospects.
I've had people contact me and they've said, I've been reading your stuff for 3 years or something, and it's like, I don't even know who you are.
Yeah.
And I think it's quite a normal thing that there are people out there, and they will, I don't know. There's a stat that only 4% of people are looking for your product and service at the moment. So your job is to convert the other 96%. But when they're ready to buy, you want to have been the person that's been in front of mind. You want to be the person that they know, like, and trust. And they may not be connected to you, but they may say, if ever I want to create FOMO or buzz for my conference, there's only one person I'm going to contact, which is May King Tsang.
That's exactly right.
And then they'll make that contact.
That's exactly right. And that all goes back to, the first question that you meant when you addressed me as, making tea, being memorable. That's that's the whole essence of being in business. When you're building relationships, you're showcasing that you are an expert in your field. You're getting people excited, buzzing excited about, who you are and what you do, by creating content for the lurkers to continue to help yourself and your business to become memorable. Absolutely. And as you say, even, when I had my tea business, I ran it in London, moved to Australia, ran it there for 6 years, came back to the UK, had to build my business from scratch. And by building relationships and so on very quickly, when I think there was a journalist who was asking for an expert in tea, and because of the relationships that I built and because I was memorable, people were recommending me, and people who I didn't know said, oh, you've got to talk to May King Tsang. So, it's the same thing with FOMO creating now. When people are having conversations with others about conferences and saying, oh, there could have been, there's things we could have done more. Hopefully next time they'll recommend, my services and think, okay. In fact, I was talking to a lady this morning, and she said that she went to a conference, and they didn't capitalize on the fact that they were on social media and get those people excited. And she said to me, they really needed a FOMO creator there. And because they're missing a trick, conferences are missing a trick.
It amazes me that in 2022, here we are, that people are running conferences and they don't, there will be, there won't be a hashtag, or
Yes.
hashtag won't be on the slide, so it'll be hidden away somewhere. Where's the hashtag? And then you go on there, and there's like no one having a conversation.
Absolutely.
It's kind of strange that that 60% of the world's population are using social media and are active on it, but the conference isn't active. Maybe they're scared that social media is going to take the conference away, but it's a bit like, I always say it's a bit like sport. So in the States, there'll be a baseball game or a football game or something like that, and so there'll be people in the stadium. They actually have this thing in the States where people turn up at the car park and have barbecues. They don't go into the stadium; they actually sit in the car park. And also, the conversation is taking place on social media. And so you can have 60, 80,000 people in a big stadium, but you could have 1 million people being part of the conversation.
Absolutely. And and it's about educating conferences, for people, conference organizers who don't have hashtag. It might be because they don't know how to use it, they don't know how to use it effectively. So whilst you and I, Tim, are incensed, like, oh my god, I can't believe this conference doesn't have hashtag, maybe they just need to reach out to me.
Yeah.
And I'll explain to you why your event needs a hashtag. I've actually engaged with conferences that I weren't able to attend by engaging with the hashtag, and actually started building relationships with people, and then in turn they turn into clients. So that's something that I've actually given advice to to some of my clients, that you can actually gain traction without being being at the conference. It's always better to meet face to face. We're human, we're social creatures. Building relationships with people is more effective, but just because you're not there doesn't mean that you can't. And in the same token, the conference organizers, because you've got a conference of 5,000 or however many people, doesn't mean that you can, you just need to talk to the 5,000 there. You want to talk to the people, the millions, like you said, Tim, the millions that are outside who are lurking. And you won't know they're there if you don't have that hashtag for them to engage and be part of your community, so that you can get them to, come into your next event.
Yes. So if you're so what are the things that does a brand need to think about in terms of this FOMO thing? What are the things that what are the discussions that and the help that you're normally providing to your customers?
FOMO sits on top of your current marketing strategy. It sits on top of your social media strategy. So, there's been times where I've pitched to a conference and they've said to me, "Oh, no, it's okay. Thanks, May King. We don't need a FOMO creator. We've got social media managers to do that." Now, social media management is completely different to creating FOMO.
Yeah.
So that needs to sit on top. Now, if you haven't got a social media strategy in place, marketing strategy in place, or email marketing, or however you connect with your community to let them know about your conference, then we need to build on that. And so when I talk to my prospects, we need to figure out, where do I fit in, because I can also help with the social media. I often work with social media managers to sort of work together to figure out, how to build that up, as well as generating the FOMO.
I think often social media management is on a conference is important, but it tends to be about beforehand. And it tends to be, this is and it may be this, we've got Tim Hughes speaking in room B31 at 2:00. they're not necessarily thinking about the conversation that's taking place during Tim Hughes's presentation. And as you say, it's a very different type of social media.
Absolutely. So, with social media management, it is about creating and planning ahead and getting content that's scheduled that will entice people to come. But we want to find out more about that. So, when I talk to conference organizers, we're not only talking about social media strategy, but we're also talking about a pre-FOMO strategy. So, how to generate buzz and excitement before the event. And this is where I come in, where Tim, if you're a speaker at a conference, how can we get people buzzed and excited and get to come to your event, your speaking engagement, as well as the other speakers? Well, this is where the interviews come in. So I'm hired to do interviews and get excited about, to give people a little insight into what to expect at that conference. Again, generating that FOMO. We've got a photograph that the social media manager said Tim Hughes will be speaking at, like you say, room 4B.
Yep.
But what is it about? So that's where the interview comes in. That's the pre-FOMO, where I might have a 5-6 minute interview with you, and we publish that out onto the social to get that buzz and excitement going. So I often work with my clients to work out who we're going to interview, speakers, sponsors, conference organizers, ambassadors, influencers, and pushing that onto the socials to try and entice people to come in. Now, then, of course, you've got live FOMO. So we talk about that. So what does live FOMO look like? So for some conferences, I've done just Twitter. Some conferences I've done just Instagram stories. Some conferences, as I said earlier, I've done Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram stories, because I am that good. And also looking at the live FOMO strategy of how we can get more of the attendees getting involved in the conversations as well. So like you mentioned, Tim, the hashtag, but there's lots of gamification FOMO strategies that we can incorporate inside the event itself, doing healthy competitions with the hashtag, or enticing people to get engaged with the attendees and playing games that way, and just making sure that people on the outside, the lurkers, are seeing this content, seeing these interviews, seeing the tweets, the LinkedIn posts, and saying, oh my goodness, I'm missing out, what's going on? And then of course there's a post FOMO bit. The marketing afterwards is not just a polished video that shows what you missed out on. I mean, that's nice. It's nice and polished, but what else have we got? It's about engaging with the people who attended and getting some of their feedback, not the testimonials at the end of the conference. What do you think of this conference? And how do you think we really want to engage with the attendees and get what value did they get from the conference, and we need to get that kind of content out onto social media, so that the lurkers will think, oh my goodness, I'm just like that person who attended that conference. I've missed out. I need to book onto this conference for next year or next month or so on. Does that make sense?
It does, and I think you're right in terms of taking the pre-conference, getting. Part of it is getting people along. Not everybody will be able to attend, but at least that they're consuming the content and they understand it and they're aware of it. Then basically during the live event, and that's about not just about the fact that I'm speaking in room B42, but it's about that there's a conversation, and the conversation could be that they don't agree with me, which is fine, which is what life's about. And then I agree with you that I remember I was paid to be an influencer at an event. And all they wanted was people to say, oh, yes, I went to the event and it was amazing. And it's like, do you not? And I said, do you not think that people just see through that?
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, but everyone's got to say it's amazing. No. What you want are people to say, if you actually say, I didn't like this bit, people will believe it more.
Absolutely.
But it's so important to get that. It's not a case of the moment the door's shut on the event, it's over. You've got far more stretch in terms of the discussion about and the conversation that's going on.
Absolutely. And, in response to that, I've seen, I've been to conferences myself where, a videographer might go up to someone and say, "Oh, can we get a testimonial off you?" And that person, that business owner or whoever, might be scared of video. So might be making excuses and thinking, "Oh, no, I've got to go. No, sorry." But if you ask them, "Can I give you a bit of publicity?" They're bound to say, "Well, yeah, of course." And you're going to get the same result because you're making it about the attendee. But then at the end, you can say, "So, what were your biggest takeaways from the conference?" So you're still getting that really valued testimonial rather than paying an influencer to say, "Tell us what you think about the conference and isn't it amazing?" So
I,
you're right. It's all about authenticity.
I did a influencer thing at a conference, and they gave us badges with, it said press, and they said go up and talk to people, but because it said press, no one would talk to us. So kept saying, "Look, it's not. I'm not really press." I said, "But your badge says press." I said,
Yeah.
"I know, but it was one of those schoolboy errors, which is where we want you to go and get real live conversations with people as
Yeah.
it's going on." But they said, "Well,
Yeah.
we can't talk to the press."
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. And it's a hangover from the old days. As I say, as events have moved on from pre-internet to where we are now, and social media especially, there are certain things that we can still do that are still effective, but there's definitely a lot of things that we need to change. And as I say, like you say, getting to talk to people and breaking down those barriers and making it easy for people. So, as I say, if you make it about the attendee, you'll get what it is you actually want.
So, May King, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your insight. I think it's such a massive opportunity for all brands that are involved in events. It doesn't have to be just the event company; it could be someone exhibiting at the event. I think that
Absolutely.
there's such an opportunity to create conversation online, not with brochures, but with people having real, authentic conversations. And you're a great person at creating authentic conversations. So thank you so much for coming on and talking to us and sharing that. I'm going to ask you again, where can people find you, though? I think.
So you've got May King Tsang on LinkedIn, and FOMOCreator.social is my website. It looks like Tim's frozen again. But yeah, do please contact me if you are an attendee, if you're a speaker, if you're a sponsor, if you're a conference organizer. You can definitely get in touch because I've actually worked with each and every one of those folks. So I can definitely help you.
Okay, May King, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us.
You're very welcome.
And I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.